So, the first generation Pokemon games were the start of a franchise that has lasted over 20 years at this point. That alone makes them special, but that doesn't stop them from being filled to the brim with glitches. There's so many that I need to separate them into multiple videos. So, let's get into it. I'm DPadGamer, and it's time for glitches in the first generation Pokemon games, Part 1. Let's start off with some pointless glitches and work our way up to the more interesting ones. If you hold the A button while the game is saving, the menu won't disappear. Certain NPCs in these games have a random area in which they'll wander. If you hang out somewhere like Pallet Town, you could see that eventually an NPC like this one will walk onto a door as if it's just a normal walkable tile. Also, NPCs are programmed to not walk into the player, so standing in front of them lowers the possible directions they can go. That means you can actually encourage them to move where you want. If you get an NPC to stand in the path that Professor Oak walks, he'll walk straight through them. Also, if you move someone down below a ledge, it's possible to land on top of them, thus occupying the same space. Pretty sweet, huh? It's possible to have NPCs appear in strange places without doing anything at all. For example, if you walk into Vermilion Gym and go directly left, then up and inspect the trash can, one of the trainers will be out of place. This is pretty strange, but it'll be corrected as soon as the text disappears. It's also possible to occupy the same space as a tree, although it's not very difficult to achieve. Just cut a tree and stand where it was. Save the game, reset, and reload. Since the first generation game engine doesn't store the data on whether or not a tree has been cut, you'll be standing on top of it. Also, east of Fuchsia City, in Route 15 is an odd tree. If you cut down this tree and walk a few steps west, and walk back, your path will be blocked. The tree is invisible, but it can still be cut down as normal. Now we have some more interesting glitches, starting with one that allows a Pokemon to be evolved without using any evolutionary stone, despite requiring it. Let's take Poliwhirl for example. Normally, it requires a Water Stone to be evolved into Poliwrath. Instead, if you go into battle with the trainer, have your Poliwhirl level up, and then end using an Onix, Poliwhirl will incorrectly evolve as if a stone was used. You see, all Pokemon and items are assigned an unseen index number, and the index number for Onix and a Water Stone is both 34. As you might expect, this works for all types of stones if you have a Pokemon with a corresponding index number. Here's a chart of index numbers, its corresponding stone, and the Pokemon. In Celadon Hotel, if you stand here and press A, surprise, there is an invisible PC that you can access. It seems that this room was directly copied from a Pokemon Center, which includes a PC. For whatever reason, the sprite was deleted, but the ability to interact with the PC was not. There are other places in the game which have an invisible PC, but they're located places that are not usually accessible. On the topic of PCs, let me show you how to do something very stupid. If you have one fainted Pokemon on your team, deposit all your healthy Pokes into the PC, leaving only the fainted one. In Pokemon Red and Blue, you're able to take a couple steps before blacking out. If you save and reset, that step counter is reset, so you're able to move very, very slowly with only fainted Pokemon. However, in Yellow, taking a single step will cause the player to black out, so the glitch is not possible there. For this video, I only have one glitch specific to Pokemon Yellow, so here it is. With your Pikachu fainted, step onto the Purified Zone. Quickly push B and take a couple steps off, and your Pikachu will be desynced. What's happening is that by moving as Pikachu spawn back in, he'll end up somewhere other than directly behind the player. He'll match your movements, but end up going all over the place. This is fixed by either re-entering the Purified Zone or changing rooms. Still in the tower, usually if you encounter a ghost without having the Sylph Scope, it's impossible to tell what it is. To fix this, just view the stats of one of your Pokemon in your party, and when you go back, the ghost sprite will update to the actual Pokemon, though it can't be caught. As you already know, the max level a Pokemon can be is 100, at least through normal gameplay. If you have a Pokemon that's over level 100, either through a glitch or hack in the game, it can be leveled even further with rare candies. With enough candies and some patience, you can take a Pokemon all the way to level 255. Using one more candy will make its level loop back around 0. This is because a Pokemon's level is tracked by a single binary byte. Bytes only count up to 255, so trying to go beyond that causes the byte to wrap back around to 0. If you attempt to enter the cycling road without a bike, the guard will stop the player and turn him around. If you instead hold left on the D-pad while trying to enter, this will happen. Once on the road, you'll be riding a bike, despite not actually having one in your inventory. It's time for my favorite glitch in this video, though it might not be all that spectacular. First, head into the Safari Zone and walk around for a bit. When you go to leave, select No to return back inside. Right here, save the game and reset. Once you're back in the game, try to leave and the rook will greet you as if you're entering the Safari Zone, but from the wrong side. Say no and leave. Despite there being no indication, the game is still acting as if you're currently in the Safari Zone, so your steps are being counted. Immediately, fly over to Viridian City and enter the gym. You want to walk around and have your Safari step counter reach 0 while in the middle of a spin. You'll be teleported back to the Safari entrance, and your walking animation has now been changed to spinning. Exit and oh, we're actually back in Viridian City. From now on, until you return to the Viridian Gym, you will be spinning. Do whatever you want, the world is your cloister. Do you want to spin to the next city? Go for it. Spin while riding a bike? Why not? Generation 1 doesn't actually have the move Whirlpool, so why not become one yourself? This is really pointless, and it actually slows you down, but I still think it's fun. If you try it for yourself, let me know what fun places you spin to. And if you bring up that overused meme,
stop it. Get some help.
The last 2 glitches I have for you are both quite useful and pretty neat. Let's start off in Pewter City. If Brock hasn't been challenged and beaten, a youngster will stand here and forcibly show the trainer where the gym is. There is actually a way past him, so here's how you do it. First, open your menu and move the cursor over to the save option. Close the menu and step directly in front of the youngster, which will start his dialogue. Press B to exit out of it and immediately open the start menu. I did this by mashing the start button and pressing B at the same time. With the menu open, press A to save the game. The cursor is currently frozen, which is why you have to hover over the save option at a time. Reset the game and come back in. This will happen. When you come back, he's no longer here as far as we can tell. Walk through where he usually stands and you can move on to Route 3, completely skipping Brock and his gym. Obviously you'll have to return eventually, but this is quite useful if you don't feel like challenging Brock right now. If you perform this glitch without being directly in front of the youngster, some odd stuff can occur. From here, if you continue on to Cerulean City, I have a glitch for you that lets you obtain Mew as your 3rd Pokemon without having any badges at all. Here's how. First, you need a Pokemon that can either fly or teleport. Performing the glitch this early means that flying is impossible, so let's get an Abra. One can be found in this patch of grass to the left of Nugget Bridge, though be careful not to engage this trainer here. If you're playing on Pokemon Yellow, Abra's locations are different, so while the glitch does work, it might need a different method. Once your Abra has been obtained, and the last Pokemon Center you've healed at is in Cerulean City, stand here. We're one space above where the trainer will spot the player. In case you mess up, save now. Walk down and open the menu at the same time. I did this by simply pressing the start button a moment after pressing down on the D-pad. From here, use Abra's teleport. After teleporting to the Pokemon Center, go and fight the first swimmer in the Cerulean Gym. Once you've won, just walk back towards Nugget Bridge, and right here the menu will appear by itself. Close it and a wild Mew will appear. It might take a few Pokeballs, but with a bit of patience, you'll have yourself a brand new Mew. Now, the reason this works is somewhat similar to the Evolutionary Stone bypass glitch which I showed earlier. When you fight the swimmer in the gym, its last Pokemon, Shellder, has a special stat of 21. Do you know what Mew's index number is? Yep, 21. Now, there's actually a way you can control the special stat of your opponent, and thus the Pokemon you'll encounter with this glitch, but I'll leave that for next time. Thanks for watching, and of course, thanks to my patrons who help make these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, why not watch some more? I have quite a few assorted glitch videos, and some Pokemon Easter egg videos. Also, be sure to subscribe so that you'll be notified when Gen 1 Glitches Part 2 comes out. That's about it for this one. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.